All right, it's Joshua, and how to navigate through challenges or struggles is what we're going to talk about. If you remember chapter 1, kind of the key "so that" passage, which is 1:8, book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate day and night so that you will be obedient, successful, and prosperous. That's where success and obedience and prosperity comes from, through the meditation on God's word. And then chapter 2, Rahab, that was just a fun chapter. Now chapter 3, verse 1, look to see where we are. Then Joshua rose early in the morning, and they set out from Shittim, and they came to the Jordan, he and all the people of Israel, and they lodged there before they passed over. This is very, very climactic. It was Abraham in 2000 BC that said that I've got land for you. So it's been since 2000 up till here, which is about 1400, 600 years, and now they're actually about to cross over the Jordan River and start taking the land. This is a huge deal. Abraham, it was promised to him. He passed the promise on. It was to his son, Isaac, and then to Abraham's grandchild, Jacob. And remember, Jacob had 12, and those 11 decided to sell the little runt off to Egypt, which ended up being brilliant because he ended up basically running Egypt. And there was famine, so all the people went into Egypt. So not that huge of a clan, but a decent-sized clan, because it's all 11 kids and all of their families. They're all in Egypt now, but the pharaohs changed, and as the pharaohs changed, they forgot how amazing Joseph was, but they saw this growing group of very distinctive people. So they were put into slavery. Moses got them out. Miraculous things taking place all the way up to this exact same spot. One of my favorite places to visit is the top of Mount Nebo. And it's on the Jordan side, so it's on the east side of the Jordan River. And when you're up there and you look, you can actually look across. You're looking east, and you can see the Jordan River. You can see the Sea of Galilee. You can see the Dead Sea. You can see where Jerusalem is. You can see Jericho. That's how close Moses got. Because of disobedience, they were right there. They had to turn around, and they wasted another 40 years. Till most of that generation is gone. Now they're back again, right on the edge of the Jordan River. You have a few immediate challenges. You do have the Jordan River as a challenge, not terribly challenging. It wouldn't be for any of us if we're a small group of us, because on a normal time of year, it's only 90 to 100 feet wide, anywhere from 3 to 10 feet deep. And it's not moving very quickly. So you can get across. Now, if you've got 1 million people, with all the luggage and all the children and all the animals, that's a big deal. So how are we going to get everybody across? That's going to be tricky. Plus, as soon as they cross over, they are 5 miles from their first major challenge, Jericho. So you get all these people over, and you might as well be blowing horns and telling people that you're coming. There is no surprise. The spies are all out watching. And they're curious, how are they going to get across the river? Well, they're watching all of this. So here's where we are. So at this huge point in the history of Israel, with major challenges in front of them, Joshua lays out for us by his own example a few key points of which you can use when you're facing challenge. So you're facing a difficult decision, and whether it's a dating decision or a marriage, or you've been divorced and you're trying to figure out, how do I manage my family or my kids? You have a problem with your child. Wherever you are, Your school schedule maybe has just started, and so you've got all your school, but you're not really that excited about it, and you're not sure how you're going to do, and you're confused about it. How am I going to really do? Maybe you're facing betrayal. You're on a path that you didn't expect to be on. How do I handle this? Well, as we look at Joshua, we'll see some ways in which he's handled these challenges, and there are ways in which we can too. And let's ask the Lord that he would reveal it to us. Heavenly Father, we believe that everyone's here who is supposed to be here. Some facing challenges, some that nobody knows. So they're struggling alone with a decision. They're afraid to move. Would ask that these ideas would bring some clarity on how we move along with you in tough times and challenges. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, the first point, if you have the YouVersion app or the bulletin, everyone should be able to do this, unless you're ADD. The first point is don't move. Now, I would have failed that in school immediately. I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be moving around. They always put me in the back. They said it's because my last name was Williams that I went in the back. I don't know why nobody else was alphabetized. So that didn't make any sense to me, but I'm in the back because I'm going to be fidgeting, I'm going to be doing things, so it may be more difficult for some of you than others. Take a look at what's going on. Verse 1 of chapter 3. Joshua rose early, came to the Jordan, he and all the people, lodged there before they passed over. Now listen to what happens. At the end of 3 days, the officers went through the camp and commanded the people, as soon as you see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God being carried by the Levitical priests, then you shall set out from the place and follow it. Yet there shall be a distance between you and it, about 2,000 cubits, which is about 1,000 feet. Don't come near it, in order that you may know the way to go, for you have not passed this way before. Then Joshua said to the people, consecrate yourselves, or set yourselves apart, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. And Joshua said to the priests, take up the Ark of the Covenant and pass on before the people. So they and the Ark of the Covenant went out before the people. Take a look down at verse 12. Now therefore, take 12 men from the tribes of Israel, from each tribe. When the soles of the feet of the priests bearing the Ark of the Covenant, or the Ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rust in the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off from flowing, and the waters coming down from above shall stand in one heap. And then in verse 16 it says, where? And the waters coming down from above stood and rose up in a heap very far away at Adam. So here's the deal. Extremely climactic. You have 2 chapters that actually uses the word Passover or crossover, depending on your translation, 22 times. This is huge. It's time. We're crossing over. We're going. Are we really going? Kids, they would say, you have no idea what's going on right here. Father Abraham, remember the song, had many sons? Yeah, that guy. He actually is the one that said that we're going to get land. We're getting it in 3 days. This is huge. And as soon as the ark comes by and their feet touch into the waters are going to build up in a heap 18 miles away. It's about the driving distance from here to Sky Harbor. So they're not seeing it happen, but it is being held up. All the water's still flowing in, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and this is actually dry. 7 times right there it uses and reminds us about the Ark of the Lord. The Ark of the Lord. It's guys carrying this thing. It's not very big. 5 by 3 by 2.5, something like that. Not real big. Well, but they learn, don't go near it. In fact, if it's going to fall over, let it fall, right? Okay? So we have a great story of a guy being a nice guy and go and grab it as it was falling. He was dead. Well, he was just trying to help. Yeah, but we did say don't touch it. So it's 1,000 feet ahead of them. So they're being really clear on this. You stand by your tent and you just wait. And when you see the ark, you pack up and you follow it. Don't move till you see the ark, and don't move till you see it move. It's us. This is us. We're in a difficult challenge. We're trying to struggle with something, and what do we do, and how do we handle it? And we go into our Bible, and we're like, God, I need answers to this. And we're on the phone with 4 different people, and we get 4 different answers. And we're like, I just don't know what to do, and I'm just going to read this, and God, you got to help me. And we put our Bible down, and we go, I'm just going to go. And it's like God's hair is straight back, and he's like, you're crazy. You're nuts. Or as Ross would say to me, dial it down. Relax, relax. You're like, what do you mean relax? My family's falling apart. What do you mean relax? I got to be in the jury, or I've got to be on the stand and to be a witness, and I've got so much going. Relax. Get God in your sights. Don't move till he's in your sights. And when he moves, follow him. We say, boy, that's a little abstract. I don't know, I think there's a lot of great men and women in the room right now, as I said that, are saying, yeah. Like I haven't said it that way, but yes, that's what I do. So you imagine the standing by the tent, which is interesting to me because the tent should be packed. And I actually looked for that to make sure I was right. Nope, it's not packed yet. Because he didn't say pack it yet. Just stand and wait. And you could imagine the scene of 1 million people standing by their tents waiting. Heart resting. Just wait. But what are we going to do with the river? Should I wear those cool leather skin boots that can get wet? Relax. Just relax. It's fine. But should I get the kid? Just shut up and relax. Right? Because our mind's going crazy. What if somebody touches the ark? Well, they'll die. Now relax. Really? Hey, Randy, go touch the ark. Randy, just touch the corner of it, just a little bit. My brother's name's Randy, so. Tyler, if you tell him, I'll kill you. Okay. Right? Our mind is like in 1,000 places as we're like, but this is so crazy. Just calm. And that's what we do. You see, the great word in the Old Testament for the tabernacle, which is what this here as well, God tabernacled in the ark. The word tabernacle means dwelt. So he was dwelling in the ark. And then when they built the, quote, tabernacle, it meant that's God's dwelling. And if you follow that dwelling theme throughout the Bible, you'll see a major peak in John chapter 1, where it says, the Word of God became flesh and tabernacled amongst us. He dwelt amongst us. It's Jesus Christ. So we keep our eyes on Jesus Christ and the Word. And I know how it feels. I know how it feels like anyone else in this room when I'll grab a passage and I'm reading it and I know when I'm rushing. Okay, God, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'll memorize that. Okay. And he's like, shh. If you're in that big of a hurry, just go. Just go. Because if you just want to check the box, consider it checked. I'll check it for you. Now go. You either sit here with me and make me center and focus, or go. But don't fool ourselves to think that when you and I read a paragraph from something in a Bible, a key Bible verse, and we go, okay, that's what I'll do. And then what do? We apply it to our life, which means my life is center, and I'm taking this verse and putting it in it so that I will be okay. Nope, exactly wrong. We sit and we give our life to the text. And we say, whatever you want, I'll do it. I'm very confused, maybe, or I'm uncertain about things. God, I'm uncertain about things, except I do know I love you. He goes, yeah, just sit there a little longer then. And if you need to get involved, I will have you get involved. But from the center of the text, not the center of my own life. Look at this other passage. Chapter 4 is a little unusual, because chapter 4 has some repetition in it that is very obvious, but you wonder, is he talking about two different instances or just one? Because after they cross over, and now they're through, and by the way, I would tell you, they are in the open. The spies on the other side know exactly what's going on. So there they all are, they're through, and then they are instructed, one man from each tribe, to grab a large rock and build a bit of memorial. Well, it says it several times. He gets the instruction in 4:3. 4:1, it says, when all the nation had finished passing, the Lord said to Joshua, the 12 men, take 12 men, each tribe, command them, take 12 stones from out of the midst of the Jordan, from the very place where the priest's feet stood firmly, and bring them over with you and lay them down at the place where you lodge tonight. Well, then we see it again. He says in the end of verse 7, when it passed over the Jordan, the waters were cut off, so these stones will be people as a memorial forever. Verse 9, and Joshua set up 12 stones. Then verse 20, and those 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan, Joshua set up. We're in the middle of the 22 occurrences of passing or crossing. There's a huge number of them up in verse 11. The people passed over in haste. They finished passing over. The ark of the Lord passed over. Then there's two more. So we're in the middle of all of that. We're crossing, and in Joshua's bright. He knows what's coming. But he stops. We have an entire chapter given to him stopping and being thankful and setting up a memorial of thanks to God. Because we'll forget. Many of you maybe also have been to the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's pretty moving. Seeing the names, it's probably equally as moving watching men and women taking names off of the wall of family and friends, and it just kind of grabs you. So we know about the Vietnam Memorial. Do we remember that it was the second longest war in the history of America? Almost 20 years. 1955 to 1975. Say, oh, well, I didn't recall that. No, of course you didn't, because we forget. How about that there were 58,000 deaths, American deaths, 58,000, 303,000 injured, wounded. And you and I go, oh, I don't quite remember that. I wasn't born at the time. That's all right. I was born in 66, so right in the middle of it. So no, I don't remember it either, but I studied it and I've read about it. But it is so natural that you and I forget things. And Joshua, who is a man's man, I mean, he is a warrior, crosses over the Jordan successfully and then commands that a memorial be set up so that our kids won't forget. This is not for the pagans to know. I don't care what they think and know. It's for us. We will not forget what God did for us. So they pause. And he tells it in a unique way, and the best that I've heard it described, that chapter, is that it's like 3 camera views. One is from the priests, one is from Joshua, and one is from the 12, the representatives of the tribes. And if you read through it, you can kind of highlight which view is which. It's this multi-view to say, you have got to remember, because we will forget. So if you think for a moment, and just simply, if it was a game, and you said, all right, name the top 3 things that God has done for you or your family. You just had to think of them. Some of those, you didn't know it till afterwards. His fingerprints are all over it, but you didn't see it at the time. But afterwards, you look back and you're like, he was there. Maybe you knew it at the time. What are the top 3 amazing things that he has done for you? Will those 3 things die with you? Oh, it can be simple. It can be a letter to kids or grandkids. Simply to put it in print, move it on. Now they can choose what to do. At least it's there. We've seen it, and Sarah's done it in a quilt. Certainly the old days, they used to always do quilts and tell stories in them. It's a great declaration of God. Sarah's done that. It could be in a frame something where it's a declaration of, but will people remember and know what God has done for you? Have you paused long enough to give thanks and to set up a memorial for it? Look at this last one. It is probably one of my favorite passages. Not probably, it is. The end of chapter 5, which is leading right to the big chapter 6, which is Jericho, which is what we're talking about next week. When Joshua was by Jericho, he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man was standing before him with his drawn sword in his hand. Joshua went to him and said to him, "Are you for us or for our adversaries?" And he said, "No. But I am the commander of the army of the Lord, now I have come." And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped and said to him, "What does my Lord say to his servant?" And the commander of the Lord's army said to Joshua, "Take off your sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy." And Joshua did so. One of my favorite stories, because you can imagine how this is playing out. This is the commander Joshua, who knows it's Jericho, and he's just taking a walk out. And I don't know if he was alone. I'm going to guess he probably wasn't. Doesn't say anyone's with him. It's a better story if he was alone, so we're going to go with alone to heighten the moment. So he's walking around and he sees a guy, and it says sword drawn. So this hunk of a man in front of him with sword drawn, and remember how old he is here. Joshua's 80. So this 80-year-old man this is one 80-year-old man you don't want to mess with. Because what does he do when he sees a guy with a drawn sword? It says he went to him. He goes over to him and he says, "Which is it? Are you for us or are you for the adversary?" And he says, "No." Okay, that wasn't one of the options. We didn't really have that as an option here. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm the commander of the Lord. And you're on holy ground. Take the sandals off. And Joshua knew it. He instantly knew it. He went down on his knees and worshiped. Okay, think of the parallel. Whose battle are you fighting right now? I think we have too often thought that let's say it's a court battle. You're in a court battle, and I need God to help me in my court battle. As a believer in Jesus Christ, you're wrong. You have it backwards. I'm fighting his battle, and I am joining him as he fights this battle in court. So which is it? Whose side are you on? No. Like, no, you're off. Like, Joshua, you are an amazing guy. You're off. This is not your battle. This is my battle, and you are joining me in my battle. You want pressure off. No wonder you and I couldn't pull it off. We're like, I keep praying for God to give me peace while I'm going through. Well, you're the center. And as long as you and I keep ourselves at the center, there will be anxiety and stress. You are not the center. And I don't say that in a bad way. I'm saying that in his encouragement. You're not the center. You don't have to be the center. You're not the quarterback. You're not the one calling the plays. He is. It's his battle, and you are joining him. Well, that had to be known. The very next verse is now about Jericho. It had to be straightened out before Jericho. So what plan are they going to use? Joshua's plan or God's plan? God's plan, because it's his battle. Do you see that? It's not just him saying, okay, I'll do whatever you say. No, it was so much bigger than that. No, I will do anything you say because it's yours, and I will follow you. And as I follow you, there are times it makes no sense at all to me. And I'm going to just follow the way you told me. Because it's your plan, it's your battle. So the ark is 1,000 feet ahead. I don't know, I pick up a little speed. Obviously, I'm very svelte. And so I'm going to make so it's 500 feet. Big deal. Oh, that's a big deal. He didn't say 500 feet. He said 1,000 feet. Keep it 1,000 feet. Well, why? What's that matter? Oh, I don't know. Because it's none of your business, that's why? Sounds like a parent, doesn't it? I have to go to bed now? Yes. You see, because it's not ours to think through and figure out, and we see the proof of that with Jericho. Jericho was brilliant. We'll see it next week. The warfare of Jericho was genius, and it's used today. He didn't know that. He thought it sounded silly. And unfortunately, we carry the story of Jericho through as if it's silly. It was far from silly. It was genius. It ended with a miracle. Well, he didn't know that. He doesn't have to know that because it's not his battle. So it sounds easy that I say, don't move till you see God. Show thanks, kind of memorial kind. And remember it's God's battle. And a lot of us would say, got it. No, I don't know that we do. We're still waiting for the big answer about the job or about your future or about the classwork. You're still waiting for something more practical and something that's really, we just said it. Get your eyes on Jesus. Don't move till he moves. You need to pause and give thanks, set up memorials for him. And please remember, it's not your battle, it's his battle. And if you and I mastered those three, the rest doesn't matter so much. Bjorn Borg was probably certainly one of the greatest tennis players ever. Played in the 70s and into the 80s, and it's back when those wooden rackets. That was unbelievable. Might as well be a pickleball paddle. They were so horrible. They were that big. I think he never lost at the French Open. 6 championships, and he never lost. That's still a record. So Bjorn Borg, the interesting thing about him, he's 63 today. Good-looking guy, shows up at events, tennis events. What was interesting about him is that he's really simple. The stories would be that on tour, that he'd be in his room watching cartoons. He loved cartoons. He retired at age 26. So this would be late teens and into his 20s. Loved to spend time watching cartoons. And his coach, same coach through his whole professional career, would tell him to do something, and since he was so simple, he just did it. So they'd say, okay, now you got to bend your knees. And it would be really kind of like, I don't mean any disrespect to Bjorn Borg, but it was almost like, okay, I'll bend my knees. Go, not right this second. You can stand up, okay. Down, up again. So they would just say it, and the coach says, only had to tell him like once. When you go into the ball, bend the front knee, okay, did it, and never have to say it again. And I thought, how many times do we have to be told to get your focus on the Lord? Lock in with him to the point where your heart rate is matching his heart rate. Because we're racing over here, and he's calm. Stay long enough that the heart rates match. And then here, this is where the discipline comes in. And then you get up from there and walk away and keep that same focus. And that's where a lot of us are lost, either there initially or we don't make it very far. Some of us will make it to this and we read and we're calm, we're like, I get it. I'm joining you in your work today, Lord. You just tell me, I will be sensitive to you, I will speak when I'm supposed to speak, and I will do what you want me to do. And we walk away and we go like 8 steps. And while we're brushing our teeth, we get upset about something. We're like, oh, this toothpaste is stuck. Someone left the cap off. And then all of a sudden we're snapped back out of it and it's my day again. And I'm upset and I'm like, oh, this day is crazy. And you see, we've lost it. Either he is the center in our focus or he's not. There's not really he's half focus. He is focus. And when we focus on him, that's where the contentment and peace in life comes. When we focus on him and we allow his word to speak to us, he's the center and we live our day with him as center. And now we're so conscious of great things that he does that we're actually enjoying things that he's doing. And we'll celebrate them. Did you see how he protected us? Oh yeah, that was amazing. And think of a way, and it's a scrapbook, it's a painting, it's a drawing, or it's a poem. Whatever you happen to be good at, use that skill to give tribute to who God is and what he's done in your life. And have that constant reminder, you're not in this thing alone. He's in it, and you're joining him. You talk about weight off of your shoulders. You're in it. It's his battle, and he will guide you through it. So I don't know which one is maybe more challenging for you. Maybe the focusing on him, maybe it's a memorial of some sort. And maybe it's the recognition that we're on his side, he's not on our side. But whichever that is, I'm praying that God will use that in your life as you walk closer to him this week.